to hide, or that doesn't really trust anybody, or is kind of a lone wolf. You either...
I'm going to say this much, ladies and gentlemen. I actually feel sorry for this group of actors and actresses, because they don't deserve to be in a Star Wars project written by somebody who has no idea what Star Wars is all about. And I've fallen out of love with that franchise since George Lucas gave up the ghost and sold it all to Disney, which I knew was going to be a massive mistake.
One last screw.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is June. It is the Pride Month that we've all been looking forward to. And in fact, a few days ago in my local area, I saw this monstrosity on the road, and it was raining. And unfortunately, the rain couldn't wash away that layer of multicolored rainbow effect from the road, because guess what? I'm really, really pissed about that. My tax-paying money paid for this abomination in the middle of a busy road in my local area. How dare they do that? Oh my God. What a shame that rain wasn't more powerful to wash away that non-water-based paint. But here we are again, ladies and gentlemen, with hopefully 2 videos for you today, beginning with Disney Star Wars, The Acolyte. In an age of light, a darkness rises.
Yes. In a very woman-centered world, which I was very excited to kind of be in that, because I feel like...
You don't want to watch this shit? You watch this shit? They just shoot it over there, drowning these whores in money. Purses and shoes and Botox. It's just raining.
I wasn't very subtle with that joke, folks, and why should I be? But of course, this gets worse, because if you've been under a rock since last Friday, I'm not talking about Dwayne Johnson, of course, because that man has his own fair share of problems to deal with, like losing a lot of fans on Instagram as well. Like, even as I speak, his popularity is declining ever more, and it serves him right, actually. I used to like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but now he's just turning out to be a very clever, almost used car salesman. But anyway, got to get into this, because what happened last Friday, a Collider clip with the Acolyte cast members was doing the rounds on social media. And I think it's hilarious, because Collider used to be something I loved to watch. It was great, but unfortunately now it's just become an absolute joke.
It was really influential, and I think also we spoke about this a lot, how these characters...
The following program contains naughty bits. But before each naughty bit comes on the screen, you'll hear this warning sound. Woke! Woke! Hotter than this. And more exciting than this. Thames Television brings you...
Come on your face. What cleanses you of wokeness?
We got Charlie Barnett right on the left. I mean, this guy, I've got a few things to say about him as well, actually. Daphne Keane. Now, you might be thinking, where have I seen her face before? She was X-23 in 2017's Logan with Hugh Jackman. And now she's a grown-up lady. And on the far, I don't want to say that phrase, but on your very right of the screen is Manny Jacinto, a Filipino-Canadian actor, exuding manliness as only Manny can, which is kind of funny that he's called Manny, more like Fanny Jacinto in my case. But I'm not going to watch the entirety of this interview, by the way, because some of the questions just get very cringy and the answers delivered. And what is really damning about this, I mean, look at that ratio. Holy shit, man. I mean, it wasn't like this yesterday, but today, look at that. That is something else. 730 dislikes, compared to only 131 upvotes. With only 5,800 views, I get more views in a couple of days or less on my videos than Collider does, which is hilarious. And it's what's on 89,000 subscribers. I mean, wowee, man. That is a poor engagement rate, but let's just get on with this because this will be, and I'm going to put the captions on actually. Here we go.
This Jedi Force leading the people, leading the universe into a positive light.
Specifically how you're through the language and the development of
Perry Nemiroff is doing the same shit she's been doing for the last 6 years, which is just, oh God, and she owns cats, ladies and gentlemen, so pretty much not dating material if you get my drift.
these characters, you realize that bad and good is in the eyes of the beholder.
I got in trouble for this question.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Can you tease specifically how Yord personally must Can you tease?
Look at Manny Jacinto's face right there. Like, you know, when you're in a classroom and you're thinking to yourself, I hope the teacher doesn't single me out to answer this question. It kind of feels a little bit like that. It's like, but Manny's like in his very butch red cardigan and white t-shirt. It's like, don't ask me. And like, ooh, wow, Charlie Barnett gets to be the first victim to walk the plank.
For this question.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Can you tease specifically how Yord personally must reckon with that particular idea?
Ooh, it's hard to not, because...
You hear the way that Charlie's breathing between his words, like, oh, he's feeling very nervous. I mean, this guy's a trained actor. I mean, if you're going to go on stage, either on Broadway or in London, you can't be nervous. I mean, nerves is a good thing. You can use it to your advantage. But man, like the way he's breathing in a very closed, confined studio. It's not like Collider is the bastion, not bastion, as some weirdo Americans like to say on their podcasts, where Alyssa McCante is a special guest. But yeah, they used to be the bastion of movie critical reviews, and now they're an absolute meme. I love it.
There's so much we can't give away. Yord is invested and committed to the council. He is committed to
slap my thigh, slap my thigh.
Leading the people, leading the universe into a positive light. And I think he truly believes the good that is grounded in that. Though, life is way more complicated. And I think of the times, as kids, when you realize your parents aren't gods, you know what I mean? That moment when the kind of shatter comes and everybody becomes just human. You have a little bit more empathy, but it also creates this kind of like, I feel like I've been lied to or manipulated in some ways. I think that's...
Yeah, because when I was growing up, I didn't think I was in Greek mythology. I didn't look at my parents and think, wow, those guys are gods, because they're just caregivers. They're parents, they're protectors of your well-being and of you and providers. But why on earth would you say, oh, Charlie with the pretty eyes and the short forehead, why would you say that your parents are gods? Honestly, young man.
It's just human. You have a little bit more empathy, but it also creates this kind of like, I feel like I've been lied to or manipulated in some ways.
Yeah, I've had that many times in my life. That's why I'm a loner these days. I'm like Chuck Norris. I'm Lone Wolf McCade.
I think that's some of the experiences that Yord is terrified by and may come to experience, but I can't really talk about things. But yes.
Let's just hear that laugh again.
Yes, I did get in trouble for this answer at Star Wars Con. I got heat.
Yeah.
Thanks. But yes.
Charlie, you got bad teeth, mate. I mean, you're a good-looking dude. Why don't you just go to the dentist to get your teeth straightened out, man? Get your retainers sorted out.
I did get in trouble for this answer at Star Wars Con. I got heat.
Yeah.
And in my mind, it's so funny to me because it literally, as a person who's outside and just a fan coming in, that was what was so beautiful and interesting to me. People have been talking to me online about how Darth Vader is such a bad person. It's very clear, and it's very well established from those actions. But if you...
Yeah, I will say that Darth Vader, definitely was a bad person, but by the end of Return of the Jedi from 1983, the man had good in him. Despite the fact he chopped off Luke's hand in The Empire Strikes Back, Luke still saw the good in his dad. He was going to try and turn him around, which, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Return of the Jedi, Luke succeeds. And it's just a great moment. It's about a father and son dynamic that you don't see in Hollywood films these days, because apparently that's a very big no-no. It's a very taboo area in Hollywood storytelling, because of course Hollywood has forgotten by now what an actual feel-good story is meant to be.
You can't look and see the Anakin blowing up the Death Star.
Hang on. I need to take a breather here for a second. Can I just... Anakin Skywalker blew up his own space station. Charlie, are you feeling all right, mate? Is everything okay? Because in 1977, when I saw that movie, I seem to distinctly remember that it was Luke Skywalker in an X-Wing fighter, aided by the ghost of Obi-Wan Kenobi, to blow up the Death Star. Okay. I think I need to breathe a little bit now. Charlie, can you just come here, please?
Possibly killed millions and millions of people. I'm going to get in trouble for saying this right now.
You should just...
Perry Nemiroff. Oh, I'm so kind to my guests. Oh my God, she is... I used to like this woman, but she is... Oh, no. She's cringe. She's the absolute pinnacle of cringe. I thought John Roker was terrible, and he still is, but my God... This is a new level of cringe I never thought I'd ever see.
You should just shut up. You should shut up. I love that. You should...
Yeah, Daphne Keane telling Charlie to shut up. Just shut up. Yeah, like that's probably the best advice she could actually give. I think she probably had the most common train of thought in this whole interview process. Manny just sits there with his arms placated. By the way, when I see Manny, I think of those awful models, the male models that Hugo Boss uses in their current campaigns. I'm thinking, what's happened to the manly men who used to wear those suits, who might inspire me or you to go out there and buy yourself a £600 full-bodied suit? I mean, Philip Michael Thomas, Don Johnson, Miami Vice, when they wore the Giorgio Armani and Hugo Boss suits in their shows. I mean, that's what inspired me to think, yeah, you know what? They can do it, I can do it. But oh my God, Manny Jacinto's now that epitome of the Hugo Boss model who doesn't have to be a gym nut and just sitting there looking really, really fancy. Oh my God.
But that is the beauty of this story, and it's the beauty of life, that it's you.
It is nuanced.
It's not about not holding people to the fire when they do make the wrong decisions or when they are bad, but recognizing why they led to the places that they led is important. I think it's why Lucas wrote it. I'm sorry.
It's why I've kind of stopped using...
But Lucas, well, okay, he's referring to the old Star Wars films, but you do realize now, Charlie, that... I had some small beef kebabs to eat this morning for breakfast because I'm hardcore like that. But yeah, Star Wars is an absolute joke because now it's become Star Whores, as in H-A-W-S.
The word villain, because I feel like people look at a villain as like a surface level, like bad person, whereas if I say antagonist, at least that implies depth and that we'll get some justifications for why they've done with.
Actually, I disagree that completely, because if we're now looking at screen baddies, so for example, Hans Gruber from Die Hard in 1988. Mr. McClane, I'm going to count to 3. We have to call him an antagonist now. We can't call him a villain because, I mean, how, you know when you get those top 10 lists of villains, but now we're going to change it to top 10 list of antagonists. Not quite the same thing. And yeah, Darth Vader will always be regarded as a screen villain. That's how people know him. I hate the fact that journos or movie critics try to rewrite things to make it a bit more nuanced in the conversation, and it doesn't work.
They've done.
Yes, which is honestly, in the end, it's better for understanding and not trying to be best friends. We're not trying to take everybody in.
Oh my
but
God!
knowing where
Stop it!
you have your
Stop it,
protections and your
Charlie! You're
boundaries.
ruining my
I love how I'm following
reputation.
up that really thoughtful answer with this particular question, but I always wonder about this. Did Leslie ever tell you why his lightsaber is orange?
Oh, I mean, I did my own research.
Okay.
Oh no!
No, and they actually gave me a green one first, and you were calling me out about this yesterday.
Yeah.
I was super excited to have green. I mean, just because the connections to all of those characters.
I think these two are fibbing. They are an actor and actress, all right, combined. And like when he's saying to her, yeah, I told you about that green lightsaber. And she's like, yeah, you did. Oh, wow, it's bizarre, man. Again, look, I don't know much about Mr. Barnett, and I know a little bit about Daphne Keane. She was in that TV show with Ruth What's-Her-Face, Ruth Pearson, is that what I'm thinking of? Who played that crazy female Joker in Luther with Idris Elba. I was going to call him Idris Van Elba for a second. But do these guys deserve the flack? They do. They should really do their research. Are they nice people? They seem to be. I just feel sorry for them that they're put in this situation because I don't really want to blame them as much as Leslie Headland. I'm pretty sure in the old days of the MCU when it used to be good, I'm very certain that the actors and actresses all went to superhero classes and do a background lessons in, characters like Captain America, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Wanda, all if they didn't, I would have made sure that was something you put into focus. And by the way, Mahershala Ali is on the verge of walking away from the new Blade reboot with Marvel because it seems that they don't know how to write a script up there. Like, take Blade, put him in a movie, get him to slaying vampires, and that's it. We don't want to see Blade's boring ass daughter. Charlie, can I just say something? Can you just
But now I know the dynamics of did my research and looked in, and I also realized wait, Rey has a yellow and she's pretty pretty.
So the fact that Rey Palpatine has a yellow lightsaber, I can't tell if that's true or not. It probably is. He now feels empowered because Rey Palpatine, who's been directed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy for her new own solo Star Wars film, which is guaranteed to flop, by the way, he feels empowered by her. Wow. I mean, how the mighty hath fallen. Do you know what, folks? I'm liable to age by 5 more years if I continue to watch this god-awful Collider interview hosted by Perry Nemiroff. This is Collider, ladies and gentlemen. They need access to Hollywood movies. They can't besmirch the cast of a particular show that we all know is going to be absolutely terrible. Because Leslie Headland, the former assistant for disgraced movie mogul himself, Harvey Weinstein, is telling you that if you don't like this version of Star Wars, then you might as well just go somewhere else because this is what woke Star Wars will be forever and ever. Oh man. But Leslie Headland will be held accountable, make her walk the plank and throw her off into the sea of tiger sharks waiting below. And obviously following her should be Kathleen Kennedy and all the other activists who have infiltrated Star Wars and have turned it into an absolute joke, because that's what it's become at this stage. You know what? When I heard this announcement that George Lucas was going to sell Star Wars to Disney because the fan backlash against the prequels, nobody liked Jar Jar Binks, nobody liked the direction and the wooden stilted dialogue between Anakin and Natalie Portman, and I like Hayden Christensen, he's a good dude. And again, the fact that he got caught in the crossfire, so to speak, because he wasn't a very seasoned actor, and this all happened now to him. Poor guy. But honestly, man, when all that happened, because George Lucas said, basically, it's the fan backlash. It made me feel disenchanted with the franchise. The irony now is people are actually going back to the prequels to rewatch them again because, what was it that Leslie Headland said? That there's going to be a lightsaber fight in the Acolyte. that will rival the Darth Maul fight with Liam Neeson's character. Are you kidding? Really? Are you the one thing I didn't like about that Darth Maul fight in The Phantom Menace is that it kept cutting between that and what Jar Jar Binks is doing. I didn't like that. I wanted more focus on the fight, and then maybe occasionally you could have cut away to what was happening with everybody else, with Princess Amidala and so forth. But oh no, we couldn't get that in 1999, could we? So it's a real shame. Like, the reason why you went to see The Phantom Menace, because when you saw Darth Maul, you were like, damn, that dude looks badass. And ever since then, Star Wars Disney, under their tutelage, they can't even come up with an ounce of what George Lucas had back in the day. Lucas was very excited to make those prequels, and because he was waiting for special effects and everything else to catch up to see what he could do. And I just wish now he would release the original trilogy on Blu-ray untouched. No added special effects, no deleted scenes, just give us that. But Lucas won't give us that. But of course, it's now up to Disney, isn't it? But I guess there might be some contractual clauses where they can't actually release those things. Maybe until George Lucas passes away, they might be able to do a Stanley Kubrick and release the versions of the original Star Wars films as intended. Because that's the only reason why Clockwork Orange got a release in the end. They had to wait for the director, Mr. Kubrick, to pass away. Because at the end of the day, folks, it's the studio who's bigger than you, not the actual... Well, in most cases, that happens to be the situation. But it's just... Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, folks. It really is. That's it. When Disney were going to buy Star Wars off George Lucas, obviously the memes are going around where Princess Leia now sports Mickey Mouse ears, and everybody thought, she's going to be an absolute joke in the new Star Wars trilogy or the new franchise. And there's no sexy women allowed in Star Wars. They all have to be dressed fully up. They all have to look androgynous. And that'll be the topic of my next video as well, by the way. So on that one, ladies and gentlemen, I'm on full rant mode today. I've had my coffee and I'm feeling good. Definitely so good that I'm going to order Bruce Campbell's autobiographies regarding his chin on Amazon later on today. And if I were you, and if you were me, you should come back for the next video.
But if you can't look and see the Anakin blowing up the Death Star, possibly.
Do you remember back in...
Anakin Skywalker blew up his own space station.
We killed millions and millions of people. I'm going to get in trouble for saying this right now.